Morning. There's Jo. She's getting the lock ready for the travel down the Tinsley flight that we're beginning today. We're leaving Sheffield, heading towards Doncaster. It's 2 days away one way or another, but we're going to be hopefully pushing through ALDWARKE lock, which right now is an assisted passage lock. Like, you have to book ahead because in the floods late last year, the lock landing, which is, like a pontoon, was apparently wiped away. So there's nowhere to moor up to actually get people onto lock. So there has to be someone there for you. Luckily, somebody's agreed to do that today. They're staying a little bit longer than they normally would, which is nice. So, yeah, just about to get on our way. We've got our partner boat here that we went up to Sheffield with. They're coming with us. So we're going to hit the river section fairly soon. After 13 locks. 15 to go before we get to the place where we'll stay overnight, most likely.
We've been moored at the top lock for a couple of nights, waiting for Karen and Richard to return from their Christmas visits, as we really wanted to share the locks with them again. In winter, you need to book passage through the Tinsley locks 24 hours in advance. The lockkeeper has arrived and unlocked the paddles for us so we can start our journey. The ducks go into the top lock first, then Michael brings Perseverance in. The lockkeeper has already opened the gates on the first few locks, so we're making really good progress. You need to keep alert when descending these locks, as they're not the easiest, and some are really quite short. In fact, the CRT says that only boats under 61 feet 6 inches can travel through the flight. We keep the boats forward in the lock to keep away from the water streaming over the gates, but that means we have to be careful not to get the bow caught up on the front gates as we descend. It's pretty noisy down in the lock at the best of times, but right now Michael can't hear anything above the sound of the water. This is the lock that was really tricky when we came up last week. There used to be 2 locks here, but in 1958, locks 7 and 8 were combined into a single lock to make way for a new railway bridge, and it's officially our least favourite lock on the flight. We're so worried about keeping the back of the boats clear of the water, we don't initially notice that a bumper on the Ducks Dulux gets caught on the gate. Luckily, Karen spots it and quickly pushes the boat off before anything serious can happen. When we open the pedals, we don't want the boats drifting back into the overflowing water, so we get the centre lines ready so we can hold the boats in place. The lower the boats go, the more churn there is in the lock. Both boats are well forward and there's no chance of us hitting the sill. Michael needs to back up a little to get the bow around the gate, and then we're on our way. This is the long pound between the upper flight and the lower flight. I remember from when we came up, these lock gates are really heavy. We pass under the double-level Tinsley viaduct. This is the bottom lock in the lower flight. We're about to go out on the river and the water level has dropped quite a bit from when we came up. The sign warns of the weir ahead, and it tells boats to keep to the centre of the channel. The reality is there's a bright orange barrier across it, so it's not hard to avoid the weir. More help from the lockkeeper at Jordan's Lock, and then we head back out onto the canal. At Holmes Lock, Michael makes a new friend. We passed the long-term moorings above ICKLES Lock and we're practically back in Rotherham now. George has walked all the way from the top of the Tinsley flight to Rotherham. The fun's over, George. Time to climb aboard. The station's right next to the canal. That'd be really convenient if there were moorings here and we hadn't been warned not to stop here. We're not sure what the problem is. These children are very friendly. The last time we came through here it was dawn and we were cruising into the rising sun. Today has turned out to be beautiful and we get a great view of all the industrial canal side buildings in Rotherham. We passed the long line of long-term moorings. Then, under Raw Marsh Road Bridge is the site of the junction with the Greasborough Canal. It was a private canal built by the Marquess of Rockingham to serve his coal mines. This is the mooring we took when we came up before Christmas, but today we're carrying on into the lock. Ducks Dulux are already at the lock and Karen opens the paddles to fill it. It's going to take a few minutes, so I take the opportunity to empty our liquids tank, as there's an L-SAN alongside the lock. We then pull into the huge lock and drop down to the river again. It's just a mile to the next lock. We go ahead while Karen and Richard close the gates behind them. We arrive at ALDWARKE Lock and all the debris that was blocking the lock entrance when we came up has been cleared. You can only use this lock with the assistance of a lockkeeper, and it's only officially open between 11 AM and 1 PM. But today the lockkeeper has very kindly waited for us as he knew we were coming. It's quite a treat waiting on the boat while we get locked through after all the heavy locks on the Tinsley flight this morning. Now that the river's no longer in flood, Kilnhurst lock is not in use, so we can cruise straight through. We arrive at Kilnhurst visitor moorings, and this is where we're going to stay for the night before we continue to Doncaster tomorrow. So that was a really good morning's cruise.
Yeah.
We've made it above the floodlock.
At Kilnhurst.
And it's really quite early, it's like 1 o'clock or 1:30. You have to book passage through the Tinsley flight, which is fine, and the lockkeeper was really, really helpful.
Yeah, he got through quite quickly.
Turned up at 9, and there was 2 boats, so yeah, really, really, really quick. But all morning he kept saying, you're not going to make it. You need to stop before Eastwood Lock because you're not going to make it by 1.
Yeah, he was adamant.
He must have said
I think he mentioned it to me 3 times.
He didn't mention it to me.
He didn't mention it to you.
But he mentioned it to the others.
Yeah, he mentioned it to the others. He mentioned it to me 3 times, and he mentioned it to me yesterday that if you start at 9 o'clock, you'll make it through flight of 12 and up to home lock.
And then 3 more locks.
But there's no chance, under any circumstances, you'll make it to ALDWARKE lock by 1 o'clock. So,
and if that is the case, it's really silly that you can only go through ALDWARKE lock between 11 and 1, because quite a few people, I imagine, would want to do that in one day.
Yeah.
And if you don't make it by 1, you have to wait till 11 the next day. So.
Yeah. Which is what he was like, you'll have to be there at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We were like, okay, we'll be there at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
No.
But we had this contact on Twitter from Dan, the lockkeeper who'd helped us through on the way up. He knew that one of the lockkeepers who was manning the flight down
was quite happy to wait for us.
Yeah, would be happy to wait for us. And when we got there, he was like, oh, I would have waited till 2, no problem. You know.
But we actually got there at 1, so it would have been fine.
Well, we actually got there at 12:38. And I'm like, so we're not going to make it by 1. But I'm here 12 minutes early. 20, I'm doing math wrong. Yeah. 22 minutes early. Yeah.
So it's a bit silly, but it all worked out, so it's good.
Unfortunately, George ended up locked up under the dynamic because...
It's just hard in the river locks.
Well, and he was very adamant about not staying on the back of the boat, even though I was floating in the middle of the canal. It's like, George, I'm not getting anywhere where you're going to be able to get off. I'm not floating.
He's like, I'm going to get off.
He's like, I must abandon the boat. And it's like, nope, this is not going to work. So we had to put him underneath the dinette.
So Michael's going to take him to the field, hopefully, and throw him some balls.
Oh, I definitely am.
Do you want lunch first, or are you going to go for the throws first?
I think I'll go for the throws first, because as soon as I'm inside and warm...
You won't want to go out.
I'm not going to go out. I want to go out again.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having nice throwing of the ball with George, and then a little bit of a relaxing evening. And then tomorrow, I think what we'll do is we'll get up early and we'll go to Doncaster. It's about 4 hours to Doncaster.
Yeah.
And that will put us in Doncaster just in time to see the Saturday markets, which we got just the very tail end of last time.
But didn't you say he was going to Jamaica?
Yeah, he might be gone, but I think he was planning on being back after Christmas. So so hopefully there's some Jamaican food there. If there's not, I'll make do with something else. There is a bakery that says it's the taste of Yorkshire. And Lord knows I don't know what the taste of Yorkshire is. I'm assuming,
The mind boggles.
Yeah, well, meat and cheese and stuff.
I'm really hungry. Let's stop talking about food.
There's an Indian curry house just over here.
It's not open till 5.
We know about it, and we're like, it's not open. Damn.
Right.
So thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell if you want to get notifications.
So it's a good morning.
Oops, my phone just buzzed. Sorry. Off. Okay. Try that again.
So the whole thing about, like, our...
So, we haven't done this in a while. Right. So, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Click the bell if you want to get notifications. That's the wrong thing entirely.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
That's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which is the one you do for
subscribe if you haven't already.
Subscribe and click the bell if you want to get notifications. Okay.